The final 5 minutes remain as the Tournament of Power is looking to come to a close, but with all hell breaking loose following Toppo's destruction, what chances do our heroes have in surviving? Is it possible for Toppo to also battle Goku in pushing him to achieve Ultra Instinct? On today's video, we will be discussing the possibility of witnessing a God of Destruction Toppo versus Ultra Instinct Goku battle, along with the chances our heroes have in surviving against warriors that are even above the gods themselves. So hold on to your God pads, because we're going to be talking about the final 5 minutes of the Tournament of Power next. If you guys like the Dragon Ball content that I provide on this channel, then make sure you guys punch that subscribe button with notifications enabled to be the first to receive all the latest in Dragon Ball content and be a part of the Dragon Ball squad. And also don't forget to follow me on these social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, to stay connected with me at all times. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. Thank you so very much for your support. Now let's begin. With the Tournament of Power nearing its end, we come to the understanding that right now, Jiren and Toppo are the greatest threats that Universe 7 faces in winning the Tournament of Power. But with that being said, what could we really expect from Toppo and Jiren as they face off against the final remaining warriors of Team Universe 7? Joining me here today to talk about this is my good friend SuperSaiyanPaul. Now, Paul, I wanted to ask you, where do you see Vegeta's placement as he goes up against Toppo? And ultimately enough, do you see an inevitable rematch between Toppo and Goku in the tournament? Because after seeing what they did during the Zen exhibition match, I think it's only safe to assume that at some point it would only make sense for Toppo and Goku to settle their differences in ultimately having Toppo have the upper hand on Goku in allowing him to achieve Ultra Instinct, which ultimately sets up for the fight between Goku and Jiren at the finale of the tournament, because right now they're building towards that. The main event of this tournament is Jiren versus Goku. So where do you see Vegeta going up against Toppo in the upcoming episode? And more importantly, would you say that at some given point we are going to see Toppo versus Goku? And if so, do you think that it makes sense for Toppo to be the guy that beats Goku down so bad in allowing him to achieve Ultra Instinct again, which of course would set up for the inevitable fight between Goku and Jiren by the end of the tournament?
Alright, so my thoughts and opinions on where I see Toppo versus Vegeta and where this is going, because in the last episode, episode 125, they showed us a preview of Vegeta going his new Super Saiyan blue form versus Toppo, and the thing about this is that it might be pushing Vegeta to his absolute limit. In some of the screenshots that we've seen, he's getting blasted like directly in the stomach,
right?
And this is a chance for them to actually give Vegeta a really good win here, because it's very close to the end. This could be his stance and very iconic for Vegeta, and as well as capitalizing on this new form, because if he doesn't get a win or like actually defeat Toppo with this form, I honestly feel like that form for him is gonna be useless. It's hyped up for no reason at that point, and they're really throwing a major spot for him to get solidified in this Tournament of Power right then and there, because at the beginning this was the guy that everybody knew their power level of besides Jiren, and now for him to not be able to bring him out, it just saves him for Goku. And with Goku being the one to save the day yet again, he's gonna have to take on both Toppo and Jiren. And with that being said, for them to just have Toppo in here and not have him be the one to throw Goku into UI, that's gonna be interesting, because they're gonna have Jiren fight Goku again inevitably, but is he going to be the one to make Goku go into UI? And will this just bring UI to the table through Toppo's new form and like his whole God of Destruction Hakai abilities?
And it makes sense too, because if you look at how Jiren was able to put Goku under UI, he bounced off the Spirit Bomb, condensed it, and it blew up in Goku's face. And I think it only makes sense considering that following those events, we saw Kefla kick Goku in the back of the head, which was, her kick alone was equivalent to the Genki Dama, and that force alone was enough to put Goku under a subconscious level to where it reactivated Ultra Instinct again. Now, for me, I do prognosticate that Goku will eventually get Ultra Instinct, but I don't think that Jiren is going to be the guy to allow Goku to go into that once more. Even though Jiren is the type of fighter that welcomes a challenge, we've seen that as he allowed Goku and Vegeta to power up. We've seen that when Jiren allowed Goku to gather energy for the Spirit Bomb, and I don't think that it's going to be up to Jiren to put Goku in UI. It only makes sense for us as the audience to get a definitive rematch between Toppo and Goku. I just feel like once that fight does happen, which is bound to happen, because if you remember during the Zen exhibition match, we saw Toppo and Goku and they were about to really break their limits and hit their peaks before the Daishinkan stopped the fight, but we never truly got to see a conclusive fight between the two, and now I think that more so than ever, it makes sense for them to settle their differences here, but not before God of Destruction Toppo beats Goku subconsciously to the point where it reactivates Ultra Instinct, and thus we get, you know, God of Destruction Toppo versus Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, let's say, hypothetically speaking, this does happen. Where do you see Toppo's placement against Ultra Instinct Goku? And if Goku does end up defeating a God of Destruction Toppo, do you believe that, in your opinion, this definitively means that even Goku himself has far exceeded the powers of a god? Or, since Toppo is a candidate to be a god and not truly a Hakaishin, does this slightly put Goku below it? Because it's very interesting how the other gods noted that all of this energy that Toppo was emitting was very identical to a Hakaishin, and through training by Belmont, Toppo was able to achieve this. Now, I do believe that once Goku fights Toppo under Kaioken times 20, I still don't think it's going to be enough, which ultimately makes sense as to why I believe Toppo should be the guy to put Goku, you know, in that state to where he needs Ultra Instinct and he beats him down so bad to where he achieves Ultra Instinct. So in your opinion, let's say hypothetically speaking, Kaioken times 20 Goku ends up fighting God of Destruction Toppo first. How do you see that fight going down? And once we do get Ultra Instinct Goku, do you see him fighting Toppo, or do you see Vegeta eliminating Toppo? Or if we do get to see UI Goku versus Toppo, what do you think the end result will be, in your opinion?
Alright, so with that being said, I have a feeling that if it does end up being Goku versus Toppo instead of Vegeta versus Toppo and Goku gets the win, with us knowing that the entire show is going to end on episode 131 and they're already like less than 5 minutes into the tournament, it's gonna be really fast paced.
Right.
Either Vegeta's gonna get his ass beat down really quick, Goku's gonna attempt to fight him in Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue and get his ass down beat really quick. Then Ultra Instinct is just gonna have to emerge out of nowhere. He's gonna have to take out Toppo in one episode, Jiren the next, and then they're gonna have to finalize the tournament and then maybe a little bit of epilogue. So that's really compressed all into this little time frame here, and I'm not entirely sure which is gonna be the most satisfying. I want to see Goku go back into Ultra Instinct in a different way, because if he fights Jiren, it's gonna be cliche. If it's just like, okay, we're fighting Jiren again, Jiren, throw me into Ultra Instinct. Right.
So you don't think that it's going to be Jiren that puts Goku under Ultra Instinct? Because I mean, it's got to be one of the two. I think that if Jiren were to be the one to do it, it's a tad bit predictable, even though, like I said before, I think Jiren would welcome the idea of Goku, you know, reactivating this power. I just don't see it happening twice, because Jiren did it the first time, Kefla did it the second time, and I feel as if Toppo is suitable enough to do it to Goku a third time in allowing this definitive fight to end between Goku and Jiren. However, going back to Vegeta, in your opinion, where do you see Vegeta's placement? Because the fandom is actually, you know, very conflicted in the idea that he might win, he might stay, he might go. People are just, you know, very up in arms with Vegeta's character, because he is a very major part of this arc, and he's been a very major player in this tournament. So do you see him winning? Do you see him getting wrung out? Do you see him throwing Toppo out with him? Like, before we get the final fight, as I do believe it's going to be the final fight between UI Goku and Jiren, where do you see Vegeta's placement? Do you still see him hanging around, or at some point do you see somebody throwing him out? What do you think?
I have a feeling that they're gonna end up throwing him out.
Really? By who? Who's gonna throw him out?
I'm not entirely sure as of yet. Maybe it might just be in this Toppo fight and catch us all off guard. But the thing is, the whole premise about Vegeta up to this point, before everyone realized the Super was gonna end, is that he's gonna be the one to unlock Ultra Instinct, and that hasn't happened at all yet, and I don't really think it's going to happen. So that was the only thing, that his saving grace that was keeping him in this tournament. His new form, if it does not beat Toppo, or if it's not utilized properly, it's not gonna really amount to much, and I think he might as well just be ringed out at that point. It should just be used for Goku getting UI again and going back against Jiren. Because if you guys didn't know, Frieza's still in the ring there, and they might utilize him being unconscious right now in the corner of the ring is actually more useful right now than anything else, because he'll catch somebody off guard.
He's barely even conscious. You know what's actually ironic? Do you think that, speaking of Frieza, do you think that's similar to what Frieza did to Goku in handing him over some energy to recover? Do you see Goku doing the same thing and handing him over some energy to kind of maintain himself, like as Frieza did to Goku when he fought, you know, Jiren? Or do you see Frieza just staying staying unconscious for, you know, an X amount of time before he is required and popping up again and fighting either Toppo or Jiren? Because as of right now, we saw what Toppo told Frieza. He could have killed him. He clearly said, I could destroy you, but I don't want to get disqualified. So, I mean, with Frieza still being conscious in the ring, he's barely even there himself. He got his skull crushed in, he got kicked around. I mean, Toppo beat him down pretty bad, so hopefully he will get a Zenkai boost. But speaking of Frieza, where do you see Frieza's placement? Do you see Goku giving him some energy just to recover? Do you see something else happening? Because I still feel in my heart of hearts that Frieza is going to make it until the very end with Goku in some way, shape, or form. Maybe he's gonna stay low-key, you know, on the floor, you know, to the point where you might think that he's unconscious, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's playing possum. Where do you see his placement?
I'm about to put out the most ballsy statement here. The most far-fetched theory there is that Frieza wins this tournament.
Well, yeah, it's not that very far-fetched after all, man. I mean, if you think about it, all he needs to do is just push them both out when he finds the right opportunity. Do you think he can do that?
Honestly, like, if anything, if Goku and Jiren have like a really, really action-packed fight, what if they both end up bringing each other out like they did with Pikkon versus Goku?
Yeah, they could.
And then they did say specifically at the beginning of this tournament, even if you're unconscious, if you're still in the ring, you guys win.
Yeah, you do. Whoever's remaining is the last person. Yeah, the last person remaining is going to be the winner of the tournament. Yeah.
So low-key, Frieza still could win this tournament for them just by being there, and I don't know how much power he's gonna save up in less than 5 minutes of time in the show.
Right.
So his unconscious body is very useful. Vegeta, if he does not beat Toppo, that's gonna be the saddest thing ever, and I want Vegeta to beat him. But however, the non-cliche way of Goku getting UI is right there with him, and it doesn't make sense for him not to get the win. I don't know.
I mean, like I said before, for me, I just really feel as if the only plausible way for Goku to get Ultra Instinct is for him to fight Toppo in his current status, in his current state, and then faring up very badly against them to the point where Toppo inflicts such damage, maybe unleashing Hakai energy, maybe doing something to where it causes Goku to get almost rendered immobile right there on the spot, but yet he's still conscious enough to tap back into that power, because I do firmly believe that it would make the most sense for Toppo to be the one to put Goku under that state of subconsciousness to where Goku taps back into this power. But what I also wanted to ask you is, what are your thoughts on if there was an Ultra Instinct Goku versus God of Destruction Toppo fight? What are your thoughts on Goku eliminating Toppo, but yet at the same time either losing to Jiren or beating Jiren to win the tournament? Like, do you think such a scenario is a tad bit too predictable, or do you believe that it's possible for Goku to get the victory, considering the fact that I don't really reckon the last time Goku ever won a Budokai tournament, but let alone any tournament at all? So I think that for him to throw out Jiren and Toppo, you know, both at different times, isn't too far-fetched. But what do you think is a more likely scenario to happen in terms of if Toppo were to fight Goku in that status, you know, God of Destruction versus Ultra Instinct? And do you think that it's possible that we might end up seeing Goku ring out Jiren and Toppo at some given point during this tournament? Or maybe even as Goku rings out Toppo, Jiren can ring out Goku, and thus, you know, either winning the tournament or having someone else remain to where it comes down to the finals. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't say it's too far-fetched given the writing here, because Goku's been supposed to be like conserving his energy up until this point. Has he been doing that? No. And with the writing and how fast-paced and how rushed some of it is, because some of it you can really tell that it's rushed, with some of the scripts and stuff. Like, he was going to be using a planetary, Frieza was going to use a planetary explosion attack against Toppo because
that made no sense. I'm sorry. I mean, how are you going to threaten someone who's a God of Destruction by using an attack that's on a planetary level? He even said it himself, you know, how about the energy of, you know, an attack that can destroy an entire star? It's like, dude, we are already way past this. I mean, Frieza was star level back even during the Namek saga, so it's like, dude, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, the power scaling has been completely off, but you're absolutely right. I mean, that made no sense to me. You're gonna threaten a god of destruction by, you know, threatening to unleash a planetary like attack that can destroy him. Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
So with rushed writing like that, I wouldn't be surprised if Goku does manage to beat both, or in the more likely case if he beats Toppo and then maybe a stalemate with Jiren, resulting in both being ringed out, and then Frieza's unconscious body wins the tournament. Maybe.
Now, my final question to you before we wrap things up is, as we near the end of the tournament, because everything just feels rushed, to me, my ideal fight would be to have either, because if you think about it, if Vegeta fights Toppo and ends up losing, then all that's really left is 17, Goku, and Frieza, and I don't think 17 is going to last very long, so and thus, as a result, somebody's going to toss him out, in which I do believe that, in my opinion, the person to throw out 17 is going to be Toppo. That's without question. So I'm calling it right now. I think that Toppo is going to inevitably throw out, you know, 17, because 17 has served his purpose. He can't do much. I mean, if he's not even comparable to Toppo right now as a god of destruction, then what makes 17 relevant enough to fight even Jiren? So, not downplaying his character, but I just want to look at it from a logical point of view and saying that it makes no sense to have 17, you know, stay around that long enough to fight, you know, someone like Jiren when he knows he's no match. So I think that Toppo's gonna ring out 17. But for me, the whole fight with Vegeta is gonna be such an it factor, because episode 126 is, you know, surpassing a god, Vegeta's, you know, desperate blow. So either he's going to do something to try to eliminate Toppo, maybe he might do something to where it's a double elimination, but then if that's the case, then you already know that at some point, if Vegeta does end up throwing Toppo out with him, then it is going to come down to Goku, Jiren, and perhaps an unconscious Frieza, but then it's going to result as to where Jiren might be the one to put Goku under Ultra Instinct, and then we're going to get that definitive fight, which feels rushed. So what is your overall, like, you know, overview as to what may go down logically? And if you can give me a situation as to what you would prefer as a fan, what would that be?
If I didn't know that this was going to end on episode 131, I wouldn't be as inclined as to thinking that Goku's going to take the spotlight. But now that we know that, I have a feeling that Android 17's the next to be eliminated because he's the least popular out of the three. Not saying that he's not a popular character, I'm just saying because he's one of my favorite androids. Right. It's just that out of the four of them, the three of them, Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza, are really, really popular characters. They had the movie Resurrection F, like around these three especially.
Yeah.
So that's just the fact that, I mean, this is how things work. You're not the most popular, you're getting ringed out before all of them. And I don't really see him having like the biggest it factor in anything, because Frieza's been the ominous one the entire time. Vegeta's been like the ace of the team, and then Goku, we know he has UI. So he doesn't have anything to offer to this table. He doesn't have any new form or anything, which Vegeta does. So therefore, he's the most likely to get ringed out. And Vegeta, he needs to get a win. I want him to beat Toppo, but if he doesn't, then it's just gonna go straight to Goku. Goku's gonna get all the power buffs and just win the fights like head on. But for the fact of the matter is that with Vegeta's new power up, like his new ability, he didn't get any major victories with this, and it's been a while since you've seen him really have that confident looking smug where he actually puts a beat down on somebody and it actually matters. So do I want this to happen? Yes. Do I see it happening? He might just like have a stalemate with Toppo at most.
I definitely feel that at some given point we're bound to see Ultra Instinct Goku, and because it's already marketed, it's already inevitable, we as fans already know that it's coming. I just feel like the only, you know, logical way to put Goku in a state to where he achieves Ultra Instinct is to fight a God of Destruction Toppo, and that's only because then we would have a fresh fight between UI Goku and Jiren, and then settling the score and seeing where Goku stands then, because as a fan, I think most of us do want to see a conclusion between Goku and Toppo's original fight during the Zen exhibition match, and as we near the finale, which of course feels rushed at this point, I feel like we as fans are not only bound to get one conclusive fight, but two of them, considering Goku's, you know, an inevitable rematch while under Ultra Instinct against Jiren. So I think that for me, it's going to be an amazing couple of episodes as we close out Dragon Ball Super. But in the end, everybody, let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How do you think Goku's going to achieve Ultra Instinct? Is Toppo going to put him under that state of consciousness? Is Topo going to be the one to put Goku under Ultra Instinct? Is it going to be Jiren? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, consider punching that subscribe button, guys, and turning on all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel, alongside following me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. I will leave links to those down in the description box, and make sure you guys go ahead and check out and subscribe to SuperSaiyanPaul. His link will be located down below. He also does Dragon Ball games and Dragon Ball discussions. Really cool dude, so make sure you guys check him out. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, tune back in for more, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Cue my outro, bitch!